Okay. So yesterday we talked about just a basic idea about testing. Okay, like what happens in testing, what exactly the tester maturity levels are. Okay, so today we look into the different things, like we have manual testing and automation testing. Manual testing means, as I told you, right, a human interaction with a system, a human testers with the system. Okay, like testing an application by entering username and password, or click on the call button and see that whether it is connecting a call or not, like a human interaction with the system, is known as manual testing. Automation testing means we use different softwares. Okay, I mean, we don't do anything. I mean, as a human, we don't test anything. We just install some software and the software will test. That's it. So what is the benefit by this automation testing is, because we implement some software, right? So that is more powerful than human testers, of course. If you give a work to machine, machine will do more faster, more accurate than human testers. So at what time we have to use automation testing? For time critical applications, like we don't have much time or it is a secure project. Okay, at that situation we use automation testing. Okay, let's say if you give it to manual testers, it takes 2 months of time, but you have only 10 days. Then you can go with automation testing, like that. Okay, it depends on the situation. Automation testing is not cheaper, it's pretty costlier, so you have to think about the money also, cost also, when it is the point of time. Okay, next. So this is all for testers, not for us. Okay, now let's look at the software testing life cycle. Okay, first we need is business requirement document. Yes, who need this? Testers. We are talking like a tester here. We are undergoing some testing training today, right? So business requirement document is needed for testers, because they will look into this and they will understand the project. At the same time, BA should explain the project to testers. It's mandatory. We have to explain the project to testers. Otherwise, it is very difficult for them to test the application. Of course, they will look into the test cases and they will test the application. However, they should know about a project. Then only they can understand what they are testing, what should be the output, so what happens, and all these things. Next, systems development document. Any technical document, okay, you have to submit. Like systems analyst will explain the system requirements. Functional requirement specification. So when you say BRD, it consists of everything. No need to specify functional system separately. Just they mentioned here. But all the requirements I am saying, that's it. Functional, non-functional, everything. Next. Test plan. Like project manager prepares project plan, right? Project manager to project planning, right? In the same way, test manager will do test plan. So in this planning, what test manager will do? Identifying the resources, identifying the technology, okay, how much work is there, how much we have to test, how much we should not test, how much duration we have, like this. A planning is done. And test strategy. So strategy, in what way we have to do the testing, okay, and test conditions, like I can say strategy like what you have to use, automation testing or manual testing. Conditions, like putting some conditions, how much to test, what not to test. Test cases. Test cases is anyhow prepared by business analyst, right? Test case document. Test scripts. Test scripts are written by testers. I mean, automation testers, they should have some idea about Java, .NET, some programming language. They have to write some scripts. Okay, with that script only the software will understand. Okay, so this is what we have to test and they will test it. So don't worry about it. We are nowhere involved. Just an idea, like what tester do. That's it. And test data. What data to be tested? So this all comes under SDLC. Of course, right? You should have a data. You should have the cases. You should know the conditions, strategy, and planning. Then traceability matrix, like we talked about RTM, requirement traceability matrix, where we can trace the requirements. And defect entry, defect tracking, defect management. Okay, these are the tools we use. No, don't worry about it. We use some technical tools to identify some bugs. Okay, that's it. Next, let's see here, manual testing. Manual testing process. Various documents used during actual testing, DRD, functional specification, use cases, test plan, of course. So they need all these things, right? Tester should understand, right? Tester also will look into use case document and everything. Why do we do manual testing when tools are available? Differences between manual testing. When do we start the automation testing? Simple. Why do we do mean? Manual testing is pretty cheaper when you compare with automation testing, and manual testing will take a lot of time. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is cost effective manual testing. Okay. But when you go with automation, pretty costlier, but you can finish the work in less time. Let's say about automation testing. Fast. Tool runs the test significantly faster than human users. Of course. Reliable. Testers perform precisely the same operations each time they are run, thereby eliminating human error. Suppose you want to test again and again and again the same requirement. No need to enter the login, no need to password again and again, right? You can implement in test automation, automatically it will test. See, you just think, first life cycle, second cycle, third cycle, like this you keep on testing. So every time you have to enter the data, you have to test it and you have to wait for the result. Again, you have to send it to developers. If the data is not right, again you have to test it. So repetition of work will be there for a tester. At that time, better go with automation so that in a second it will repeat. Other, if you do it to human tester, it will take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to test every cycle. So it takes some time. Repeatable, yes, you can test how the software repeats under repeated execution of same operation. Same example you can see. Like I'll tell you a small example here. You are registering into Gmail. Listen carefully, okay? So the Gmail registration page says that a username and password, a username should be only character data like sriram@gmail.com, and password should be only numeric data like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. Okay, let's say this is the requirement. Okay, designers develop the requirement, fine. But when it comes to testers should test it in different ways. Like how they will test? First they will enter sriram@gmail.com and 1, 2, 3, 4 password. Yes, it should accept. And second they will test sriram123@gmail.com. What they are doing here? They are adding numeric to character data, right? Character data. It should not allow, right? The system should not allow because you enter numeric data in email. But if it is allowing means there is an error. There is a bug. Correct? You got my point? So repeatedly you keep on adding new things and you testing. Like once you give numeric data, once you give special characters, once you give some other data and you keep on testing, because you will see that the system should not allow the other data. It should allow only character in Gmail and numeric in password. But it should not allow character in password. It should not allow special characters in password. So this is nothing but repeatable. Are you following me what I am saying? Okay. And programmable. You can program sophisticated tests that bring out hidden information from the application. Simple. Let's say there is a huge program like 1,000 lines of program. Okay. Of course, these programmers will write, right? Java, .NET, HTML. They write hundreds of lines of program. If you give this program to a tester or a programmer to test it, how much time it will take? They'll ask maximum time because they have to read all the each and every line they have to see, they have to check, correct? They have to run the query, they have to identify the error, they have to change it, and it will take a lot of time to identify the huge programming errors. So for that purpose, if you use this automation tool, it will identify within a second. Okay? So it will identify where the bug is and it will pop up. Immediately you can identify that and you can fix it. So this is what the use of automation. Comprehensive. You can build a suite of tests that cover every feature in your application. Simple. If you look into Google search bar, the Google search bar will be in Google search page, in Gmail, in YouTube, correct? Everywhere you will find the search box. So you can build a test case for this, and the same test script you can use it on all the applications. Got it? Like you write a test script for Google search box once, and you can use the same script repeatedly. I mean, because this search box you will find in Gmail also on the top, correct? YouTube also on the top, where you can search videos. Images also on the correct? The search box. Okay, so that is comprehensive. Reusable. You can reuse tests on different versions of an application even if the user interface changes. Now look into this. Let's say that we write a test case for login page, the username, password, and sign in button. You can use this logic or any application. Let's say today you are developing Gmail. Tomorrow you are developing Yahoo email. Day after tomorrow you are developing Redis email. For whatever it is, all are same. Login process is same, right? You got my point, right? The logic is same. You can use this script for all these applications. So like this, automation testing is useful for different ways. So don't worry about that. Just try to understand the things. That if you are not supposed to involve in automation testing, and no one will ask you about automation testing because this is not a subject of business analysis. Okay? Only manual testing, that the user acceptance testing, you should know. This is all just for your understanding, because once you join in an organization, and if anyone tell you that hey, we are going to do automation testing, so if you don't know what is that, what happens there, okay, what do you mean by automation, what do you mean by manual, it doesn't look good. Okay, that is the reason you have to know all these things. And next one is test plan. Test plan we are nowhere involved in here, because testing manager will do this. If you have time, if you have patience, if you want to learn more, yesterday I sent you one audio and audio presentation, right? You can look into that about test plan. Okay. Yesterday I told you Hari Adari, he's having 16 years of experience. I had sent you that audio. You can look into that, because we don't do any test plan. It's simple, like project manager prepares how the plan is done. The same way test plan is done. Resources or what not, everything. Okay. Technology or everything is maintained, is planned here. Now let's jump into the important topic, that is types of testing. We have different types of testing here, like unit testing, integration testing, load testing, blah 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 blah. Let me copy all these in a Word document and I'll teach you there. Just concentrate, okay? It's very, very important to know about all these testings. The first one is black box testing. Not based on any knowledge of internal design or code. Tests are based on requirements and functionality. Simple. Black box means functional testing. Like when you click on this, when you enter login, data in the login page. So what the output you are getting? Just the knowledge of internal. It is not internal design or code. Tests are based on requirements and functionality. Next, white box testing. Based on knowledge of the internal logic of an application's code. Tests are based on coverage of code statements, branches, paths, conditions. Simple. Opposite to black box, white box is nothing but logic program inside. Okay? And unit testing. The most micro scale of testing, sorry, you understand what is black box and white box, right? Black box is nothing but functional testing. White box is nothing but logic testing, okay, coding testing, right? Next, unit testing. The most micro scale of testing to test particular functions or code modules, typically done by programmer, not by testers. So when you look into V-shaped model, when it comes to development stage, I mean programming stage, once the programmers write a code, okay, that code is tested by testing company, as I told you, right? So testing company means they will do unit testing. What do you mean by unit testing? Here, testers will not test it. Programmers will test. I mean, what I mean to say is, if you look into some job descriptions, I'll make it very clear, okay? Don't get confused. Some job description says that we are looking for ETL testers, we are looking for Java testers, we are looking for .NET testers. What do you mean by that? You will find this type of job descriptions, Java testers, ETL testers, .NET testers. Means what? These people should have good knowledge on programming. I mean, they are programmers only, but they do testing. They do testing. Got it? So that testing is done by programmers, not by testers, because tester is a functional guy. We don't know how to test a program, correct? Functional guy means what? The functional requirements testers will test. not the programs. Because programmers are tested by programming testers, like as I told you, Java tester, ETL tester, .NET tester. The same thing happens here. Typically done by programmer, not by tester. As it requires, why programmer, why not tester? Because as it requires detailed knowledge of the internal program design and code. So, is it possible for a tester to test 1,000 lines of program to read the code? No, only programmer can do it. Correct? That's what. Internal program design and code, not always easily done unless the application has well-designed architecturally tight code. May require developing test driver modules or test handlers. Those are some tools we use here. So what I'm trying to say is unit testing is done by programmers, not by testers. Unit testing means programming testing. That's it. Next. Incremental integration testing. Incremental testing means you have to remember incremental SDLC. See, let me tell you one thing. We have around 20 testings here. Okay. So depending on the project, we select the testing areas, testing techniques. Got it? Okay. So now let's say we are doing testing on incremental model. What do you mean by incremental model? We already talked about it, like independent applications we design, right? Like Gmail, YouTube, images, Google Play Store, or when you look into online banking application, we have account download statement, bill transfer, money transfer, fund transfer, bill payments, correct? These all are different independent applications. So for such type of project, if you are doing testing, means we have to call it as incremental integration testing. Okay, clear? Now let's see this one. Continuous testing of an application as a new functionality is added. Of course, right? So today you added Gmail, after the year you added YouTube, like this. So continuous testing of an application as new functionality is added requires that various aspects of an application's functionality be independent enough to work separately before all parts of the program are completed. Or the test driver be developed as needed, done by programmers or by testers. This can be done by programmers or by testers. Anyone can do it, but the testing should happen independently. Here, that is known as incremental testing. Integration testing. Testing of combined parts of an application to determine if they function together correctly. Now, integration means non-incremental, like operating system. Operating system, we talked about it, right? Because the requirements depend on each other. Like computer depend on control panel depends on some other, correct? Testing of combined parts of an application to determine if they function together correctly. The parts can be code modules, individual applications, client and server applications, and network, etc. Examples: servers, operating systems, databases. Okay, let's say this type of testing is especially relevant to client server and distributed system. Operating system is a server only. It's a distributed systems only. LAN, WAN connectivities will be there, correct? So like this, you have to select the testing. So as a BA, you don't do anything. You don't involve in all this testing. But you should know, by looking at the project, you should know that we have to do so and so testing here. Or else, when a tester is talking about, like we have to do incremental integration, you should know what is that. I think you are understanding what I am saying, right? So do you have any doubts till now what we discussed? We talked about black box, white box, what else? Incremental integration, unit testing, and that's it. Black box, white box are common. In every project you have to do. Okay. Whatever the project is, incremental, non-incremental, whatever it is. Unit testing is also mandatory because programmer should test, right? I mean, whatever the program you design, that should be tested. So like this, incremental testing is only done in incremental projects, not in all the projects. Integration testing is done only in the non-incremental projects, but not all the projects. Correct? So like this. So can you give me an example which SDLC is suitable for integration testing? Waterfall. Correct? Yes or no? You have to think in that way. Why waterfall I said for integration? Because I took an example of servers and operating systems. So operating systems are developed by using waterfall only because they are different versions, right? Old version to new version. Are you following me, Prerna, Sonia and Maheshwari? So if you understand the logic, then you can understand the things. Otherwise, it's waste. Okay. Let's look into the second one. Functional testing. Functional testing. Black box type testing only, geared towards functional requirements of an application. This type of testing should be done by testers. As I told you, right? Functional testing. This doesn't mean that the programmer shouldn't check that their code works before releasing it. Yes. Simple. For black box testing only, but here what happens is programmers will test technical testers or programmers will test the code, wherein functional testers will test the functionalities. That's it. Like if you take an example of login page, the functional testers will test the login page, and for this, whatever the code is there, the code is tested by programmers. That's it. And next one is system testing. System testing means black box type testing that is based on overall requirement specifications, cover all combined parts of system. Complete system. When we talk about leave management system, right? ATM system, ATM machine, complete internal system. Everything, not only one or two requirements, complete from top to bottom. That is known as system testing. And end-to-end testing. End-to-end means, from top to bottom, like from software to hardware, everything. If you take an example of mobile, camera, hardware, software, internal software, touch screens, database, okay, everything, even turn on, turn off button, SIM slot, everything. That is known as end-to-end testing. End-to-end testing word you will find in testing profiles, tester profiles. Like in resume, if you look into any tester resume, they will mention that I involved into end-to-end testing. Or in job descriptions also they will mention end-to-end testing. End-to-end means everything. Let's say similar to system testing, the macro end of the test scale involves testing of complete application environment in a situation that mimics real world use. I mean how the real world use. Like ATM machine means complete machine you have to test it. Everything like the hardware, software, interior, exterior, everything. Okay, that's it. Such as interacting with the database using network connections or interacting with other hardware applications or systems is appropriate. Everything. Next, sanity test. Sanity testing is typically an initial testing effort to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it for a major testing effort. It is in a condition. Sanity testing means it is in a sane. It is in a condition to test or not. Okay. For example, if a new software is crashing systems every 5 minutes, bogging down systems to crawl, or destroying databases, software will not be in a sane enough condition to warrant further testing in its current state. Clear? Understand, right? So you have to see that it is in a state, it is in a condition or not. Let's say you design some software and you installed in a computer, in an operating system. All of a sudden when you install, I'll give a small example. Google Play Store, right? So sometimes, if you install some game, automatically your mobile will be blinking or something happens or some crash. Sometimes it will get a crash. So people will drop a message under the games. If you see in Google Play Store, the applications you will see. I installed this application. My mobile got crashed. When I install this, I am unable to, my mobile got calmed down. I mean, came down. The process has went down. Am I right? That means the application is not in enough condition to work in the real world use. We have to remove them. We have to rectify the issues. Who will take care of this? Testers. You got my point, right? So let's say they designed Microsoft Office, Microsoft Visio, and the Visio has been installed in the computer. Immediately the system got cracked down and it is bogging down, something is happening. That means the software is not in enough condition. That is what happens. Okay. Next. Regression testing. Okay. Retesting after fixes or modifications of the software or its environment. It can be difficult to determine how much retesting is needed, especially near the end of the development cycle. Automated testing tools can be especially useful for this type of testing. Regression testing is testing again and again. As I told you, right, some example, like if you want to test the application by giving different inputs, okay, so we go with this regression testing. So it is very difficult when manual testing, we cannot go with manual testing and regression testing because the same application, same requirement, people will be testing again and again. So sometimes they will do it properly, they cannot do it properly. At the time we go with automation testing. Retesting after fixes or modifications of the software or its environment. It can be difficult to determine how much retesting is needed, especially near the end of the development cycle. I mean, we have very less time and we have to do repeatedly testing. Okay, you have to test again and again. So better you go with this automation testing. Automated tools can be especially useful for this type of testing. Are you following me? What I'm saying? By the name only you can identify what type of testing is this. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple. Okay. Acceptance testing. User acceptance testing. Okay, we discuss about user acceptance testing later. Look into load testing, stress testing, and performance testing. It's simple. I'll make it very simple to understand here. So let's say that you're downloading 10 movies at a time. What is happening here? There will be a huge load on your internet connection. There will be a huge load on your CPU, on your processor, correct? That is load testing. When the load increases, what happens? Stress will increase, correct? When the load is increased, automatically the process will run very fast. It will try to run very, and the internet speed, it will try to bring all the speed. I mean, otherwise sometimes what happens, if you are unable, if the system is unable to communicate with all the things, immediately the system will slow down and sometimes the system will get hang off, correct? So that is stress. Because of the stress it happens and at last performance. When the load and stress increase, what happens automatically? The performance will go down. I mean, the system will get hang off and the loading will stop. The downloading will stop. Am I right? So that is nothing but load, stress and performance. Let's see load testing. Testing an application under heavy loads, such as testing a website under a range of loads to determine at what point the system response time degrades or fails. Okay? The best example I gave you. Download movies, whatever it is. Stress testing. Term often used interchangeably with load and performance testing. Also used to describe such tests as a system functional testing while under using heavy loads. Heavy repetition of certain actions or inputs. Input of large numerical values, large complex queries to a database system. Okay? This is known as stress test. Stress. That can be the stress in the database or any application. Performance testing. Term often used interchangeably with stress and load testing, ideally performance testing, and the other type of testing is defined in requirement documentation of PAR test plans, blah blah. I mean, we will mention all these because how they are testing all these things. In test cases, we'll write to test all these things, right? Depending on the project, as I told you. Okay. So let's say login page. For login page, it should open within 1 second of time or 1 millisecond, but it is not opening. The performance test, like this. Okay. So following me what I am saying. Next, usability testing. Usability means just client want to see just in the middle of the project or somewhere before testing only. I mean before once the development is done, but the before testing. Just for user friendliness, I am saying before testing. Okay, just client want to see what happened. So testing for user friendliness. Clearly this is subjective and will depend on. Can you hold a second? I got a call. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. So do you have any doubts here? So can you tell me what is this? Installation, uninstallation and recovery testing? Fair now. Yeah.
Okay. What are you asking me, Shreya?
Yeah, can you tell me what is this installation, uninstallation? You just read it and tell me what is this.
Well, testing of full, partial, or upgrade system and install, uninstall processes, meaning whatever you have previously installed, you have to, I don't know, go through the process of
Correct. You're right.
right.
Okay, installation and installation. So suppose you install the software and you uninstall it. So it should install and it should uninstall it, right? I mean, whatever the application you design, it should install. And I'll give you some examples here. Sometimes you try to install some applications, they will install. But when you try to uninstall, they don't uninstall, correct? They will fix to the computer. At last, you have to completely remove your operating system. Did you ever face such situation? Like toolbars or touch bars, it happens generally. Got it? Like if you install some search engine sometimes, they don't go. They don't, if you try to uninstall also, they don't uninstall. Okay, I mean, they are not in a condition, they are not in such a situation. That means they are not designed in a right way. You can easily identify
Right.
that. Yes, yes.
Okay, now I got it, yes.
You understand, right, what I'm saying? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Recovery testing. Recovery testing means testing how well a system recovers from crashes, hardware failures, or other catastrophic problems. Okay? Testing how well a system recovers from crashes, hardware failures, or other catastrophes, like operating systems, computers, laptops, right? Suppose let's say all of a sudden your system got crashed. So do you think that your data is lost? No. You can go back and you can bring it from your recovery. Correct? You have that recovery option. You can put the date somewhere earlier to this 15 days or 1 month. You will get all the data, whatever you can. You got my point, right? So this is nothing but recovery test. Like this, it works. And next is just a second. Yeah. So meanwhile, just read it. Okay. Just I'll be on mute. Okay. You just read it. You try to tell me what are these. That's it. Maheshwari, can you try? It's pretty simple, right? So why I'm asking you people to explain, because you know, if I continuously reading, you know, people feel sleepy. That is the reason I'm asking you to explain me. That's it. Security testing. What do you mean by security testing? Firewalls, passwords, correct? So you have to test the security. Testing how well the system protects under unauthorized um, protects against unauthorized internal or external accesses, willful damage, etc. May require sophisticated testing techniques. People, they want to, some people, hackers, they want to log into your process, log into your system, correct? So how do you give security to them? So the best testing you have to do, correct? That is nothing but security testing. Testing how well the system protects against unauthorized internal or external access, willful damage wantedly, okay, etc. may require sophisticated testing techniques. Yes. Computability. Testing how well a software performs in a particular hardware, software, operating system, network, etc. Same like sanity testing only, but here we test on everything. So now let's say you install some Microsoft Office, it should support hardware, operating system, and other softwares, network also, correct? So whatever the application you design, it should support everything. It should not like it should support only for a particular area. Okay, that is nothing but computability testing. Exploratory testing, often taken to mean a creative informal software test that is not based on formal test plans or test cases. Testers may be learning the software as they test it. That means, let's say that testers are testing something. Okay, they will identify some, all of a sudden they will identify some a new bug which is not in the test case, which we did not mention in the test case. Okay. So testers may be learning the software as they test it. And ad hoc testing means similar to exploratory testing only, but often taken to mean the testers have significant understanding of the software before testing it. See, there are two things here. One thing is, let's say you are testing some application, you identify the new bug, new error, that is one point, and you have no idea about that error, that is known as exploratory testing. Ad hoc testing means, yes, the same, exploratory only. When you are testing, you identify the new bug, but testers will have an idea about it. Okay, what is this bug? Why it came? Okay, from where? I mean, what is the issue of this? So that is nothing but ad hoc testing. Okay? No one will ask you all these things. Don't worry. No one will ask in interview all these things. Why I am explaining you? Because in real time you will use all these technical words. They don't say that I am doing just simply testing. Testers will say that we have to do ad hoc testing. We are doing ad hoc testing. They say that we are doing security testing. We are doing comparison testing. You should know what is that. You cannot ask anyone like, or you cannot Google in front of others. What is comparison testing? What is that? What is this? Correct? Read it twice, thrice. Easy. It's very easy. By looking at the definition, by looking at this, you will easily understand that. By looking at the name only, you will understand what is this project, what is this testing. Okay. So nothing to worry here. Next one is user acceptance testing. Determining if software is satisfactory to an end user or not. So DA will do this. DA will involve in user acceptance testing. Comparison testing. Comparison means comparing software weaknesses to competing products. Yes. Okay. Comparing software weaknesses and strengths to competing products. Like we do gap analysis, right? Comparing our application with others. In the same way, you have to compare your application with others also, how best your application is working or what not. That's it. Alpha testing. So under UAT, we have two types of testing. This is what DA will do. Okay, it's very important to know. Alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing means testing of an application when development is nearly completion. Minor design changes may still need to be made as a result of such testing, typically done by end users or others, not by programmers or testers. Correct? Alpha testing means, let's say testers finish the testing part, okay, and the project is ready now. I mean, the product is ready to move to the client location. Now, as a BA, what you have to do is, you have to invite client-side people to your company, to your place, and you have to explain this project to them. So that is nothing but user acceptance. So alpha means you have to invite people, you have to invite client-side people, and you have to show, you have to test it, you have to give a demo to them. If they accept it, they will take it. Otherwise, if any changes are there, they have to do it. That's what they are saying here. Minor design changes, minor, not maximum. Small changes like maybe the client is not satisfied, maybe client has a request to do some changes. Yes, you can do it. Okay. And beta testing means Okay, once the client is satisfied and once you install the application in client server, then BA will act as a user manual, user guide, and BA will explain the project to client at the end of the day. That is nothing but beta testing. Testing when development and testing are essentially completed and final bugs and problems need to be found before final release, typically done by end users or others, not by programmers or testers. Okay. Mutation testing. A method for determining if a set of test data or test case is useful by deliberately introducing blah blah blah. So no need of this because we don't do mutation testing. Just read it. I need to know about it. Let's look into user acceptance testing, then we'll come to bug life cycle. Okay. Yeah, we are here. Okay, this is what we have to do. We are nowhere involved in all these things, but you should know. So I'll ask you once we are done with this. I'll ask you some 2 or 3 questions. Let's see what you'll answer. Okay, how you'll answer. Okay, let's look into UAT, user acceptance testing. We have 2 types: alpha testing and beta testing. Testing is done in our company in front of client for internal feedback. This is alpha testing. Beta testing. Testing is done by client at their company for final feedback from client. As BA, we provide training to end user. Very simple. As I told you, alpha testing, invite client to your location, show them it is working or not. If they satisfy, then deployment team will deploy into the client server. Then as a BA, you have to go along with the client. You have to stay there. You have to teach them. You have to educate them. I mean, people will start working on the project. Okay, client will start using the application. Got it? Client will start using the application. As a BA, you have to educate them. So this is where you have to log in. This is where you have to register. This is how you have to send an email. User manual. User manual means what? User guide, right? Let's say you brought a new product to the new laptop. You will get a small booklet. It have all the features, correct? You brought a new micro oven. It will have all the features. So you have to cook this in so and so degree centigrade. So this button is for so and so. This button is so and so and so. In the same way, BA will act as a user manual, a demo to client. That is nothing but beta testing. Okay? That's what you have to do here. Alpha testing and beta testing. Yeah? Next. Now let me ask you some questions here. What do you mean by regression testing? Tell me. In interview, they'll ask you 1 or 2 questions from testing. What do you mean by regression testing? Prerna, Maheshwari, Sonia. Okay, leave it. If you feel that it is difficult to remember the word regression, what do you mean by security testing?
Okay, I think you have to do it again and again. That is regression testing?
Correct. Repeatedly testing the application again and again, and regression testing is mostly done by automation testers. Automation testing. Okay?
Okay.
What do you mean by security testing? How will you do? If as a BA, if a scenario comes to you and they will ask you like, how do you do security testing? Then what you will tell?
Security testing is the testing which is done to prevent hacking activity and to keep the data secure so nobody can really access your data which they are not supposed to get it into.
Correct.
Okay.
So what you will do for this? I mean, for security, what requirements you will implement? Can you tell me? Like how you can save your data? By using which requirements you can save your data?
By securing the access with passwords.
Exactly. Authorizations, authentication. Correct. Access controls. Correct. Security, passwords. So like this, you have to remember. So they'll ask you in general in interview some questions from testing, like what is black box, what is white box, incremental testing, integration testing. So by the name itself, you have to think, okay, this is what, and with proper examples. And there are some testings which are in common, like white box, black box, unit testing. They are in common. But when you look into incremental, we don't do incremental for all the projects, correct? We don't do load testing for all the projects. We don't do stress testing for all the projects, because load testing, stress testing is something where you try to download, you try to work on it more and more, correct? Like suppose on internet connection you can do load testing and performance testing. Am I right? On processor you can do, on laptop processor you can do, but you cannot do it on any Gmail or something like that. Correct? Load and stress. What you can
So
do in
Sriram,
Gmail? Yeah.
unit testing is mainly done with which method?
Unit testing is a programming testing. That's it. I mean, programmers will test the code. That is known as unit testing. That's it.
Okay, so it's not associated with like sometimes you said that this testing is mainly done for waterfall method, so it's not associated with any particular. Okay, okay.
No, it is not associated. That's what you have to identify here. So, what are the normal basic testing methodologies? I mean, testing things, and which we don't use comp. So, like this. So, when I say sanity testing, sanity means you have to see that the software is enough condition to work or not. So, on which project you will implement this? When you are designing a software, when you are designing an application which is installed on the operating system, correct? You got my point. You don't do this sanity testing on any websites or any portals, correct? You do it only on software like MS Visio, like any applications, games or anything you will use it, which we install. So do you install any website in operating system? Tell me. Do you install? No, right? Do you install any portal in operating system? No. Websites, portals are different. But MS Office is a software you will install. MS Visio is a software. VLC player, media player is a software which we install in our operating system, correct? So whatever the application you install inside an operating system, we have to do sanity testing, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is it clear? Correct. Right. So even suppose let's say you connected to your data card. Data card means like an internet data card. When you connect to your computer, it will ask you to install it. Correct? First time, you will click on that install button, run button. When you click on the run, it will install. So once it is installed, if anything goes wrong with the system, means you have to understand that this is not in enough condition. So we'll remove that and we'll give back to the fellow. Hey, your data card is not working. Your system is your application, whatever it is not working. So like this, you have to think in that way. Just read it. Read it twice, thrice. At least 4 or 5 times. If you read all these testing, different types of testing, you will clearly understand, and you'll get an idea for which project we have to use which requirement, which testing. Okay, that's it. Any doubts, Maheshwari, Sonia?
I'm good, Sriram.
Okay. So the last topic is bug life cycle. We will do it now. It takes just 10 minutes. That's it. Okay. So shall we do it now or shall we do it tomorrow? Your wish.
It's up to you.
No, you said that you are getting late, right? I don't know who is joining. Just give me a second.
டேபிள் மேல புக் இருக்கு பாருங்க, இதை எடுத்துட்டு போய் டேபிள் மேல வச்சுட்டு என்னுடைய book.
Hello, Lakshmi.
Hi Sriram, yes, how are you doing?
Yeah, but do we have a class today? Session?
Yeah. Did Pradeep didn't inform you about it? Mama. Hello.
No, I didn't get any information. Okay, just be on mute. Okay, I'll talk to him. Okay.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay, Prerna. We'll continue tomorrow. I have to talk to this guy. Okay. Just give me.
Okay, sounds good. No problem. Okay, good night.
Yeah, bye bye. Take care. Okay, Maheshwari, Sonia, and Prerna. Bye. Take care. I'll send you the material.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, try to do the assignment. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Bye. Lakshmi, give me 2 minutes, okay? I'll be back. I'll talk to this guy and then.